Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Aquarium Radio at aquariumradio.com. I'm your host, Janet Kira Lessin, and my co-host, Dr. Sasha Lessin, is running a little bit late, but he will join us in a short while. And today we have an episode of We the Anunnaki with our very special guests, Emily Elizabeth Windsor Cragg and Glenn Bogue. And today, on this episode, we're going to focus on, of course, we'll go wherever we go, but the ideas, we're going to focus on the historical, religious, political, legal, and societal influences of the Anunnaki and how they affected our and continually affect our world and society. Did they leave at some point? And if so, who left and who remains? When did they leave? When did they return? Who returned and who will return? What is their agenda? Are they here to hurt or help us? And, of course, you can see more at our website, aquariumradio.com. And so I have two people in my queue. I think this is my two guests, Emily and Glenn. I'm going to...
Hey, Janet. Hi.
Hi, Emily. Okay.
Hello.
Got you. Would you like to tell your listeners a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I can do that. You know, I have my own radio channel here on Blog Talk Radio, and I gave up doing my own show because I needed a moderator like you, because you do this so well, and it's so hard to do it alone. And so what I have been talking about since I joined Blog Talk Radio in 2009 has been the effect and influence of the Anunnaki civilization on our planet since Sumer, which Zecharia Sitchin has documented in his translations that you and Sasha have been working on all this time. And what I notice, because I'm kind of an eclectic weirdo, is, you know, I've been shopping religions, you know, like a lot of people do. I shop the eclectic occult because my mother was into that, and I shop the Zionist tradition and the Christian tradition and the Catholic tradition and the Sikh tradition and the Mennonite tradition and the Yakata Smakata. And I have tried to do a synthesis of all these ways of thinking to kind of get a sense of where are we anyway on this planet. Okay, we have these religions and these ideologies and these ways of thinking that in the media, the doctrine and the covenants and the dogmas are what are discussed, and they're discussed in a divide and conquer mentality. You know, if you don't agree with the Trinity, you're in hot water with the Calvinists. And if you don't believe in Latter-day Revelation, you're in hot water with the Mormons. And if you don't, and so on and so forth. And that's what I've been dealing with all this time. And lately, I've been dealing with the writings of Ashiana Dean, who is way out there. She's way out there on the edge of the envelope, talking about hierarchical doctrines and dogmas that we on this planet have never heard of before. What are you talking about? You know, she's got histories and races and doctrines and dogmas that are just way over our heads. And I begin to understand why the original engineer, the original, you call him a creator if you want, I call him an engineer, Yahweh, who understood DNA coding like any good software coder, who understood sacred geometry like any good a student of geometry. He is just simply the guy who built the system physically that we're participating in. Okay, and it became clear to me why he put the whole system of galactic and universal thought into quarantine. He put it in quarantine because it didn't help anybody in third dimensional physical to deal with the reality of causes and effects in time. It was all mind games and head tripping. And so I guess it was about the time of the flood of Noah's day, this planet got put in complete quarantine so that none of the ETs could even get here anymore because he was just sick and tired of it.
This is perfect. This is a good start. I'm going to introduce Glenn here. Have him come on. You guys are going to get along famously because he's a seeker and a quester, and looking into this information at a whole other level than what Dr. Lessin and I have been doing, and we all have a piece of the elephant. So let me just bring on Glenn, and then what I think we can do is kind of just free flow and ask each other questions and kind of give each other like 5 to 10 minutes and then switch the ball and pass it on to the next person. Just keep going round table.
Love it. I want to hear what Glenn's about.
Yes, and then we're going to go back. So we were at the flood. Okay, but we're going to go back a little bit earlier, and then we'll the flood was very, very important. Okay, Glenn, are you there?
I'm here, Janet.
Cool.
Hi, Glenn. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you back. You're always such a delight having you here.
Well, I'll agree with what Emily said about you being the best moderator.
Oh, well, thanks.
She is. She really is.
Move over George Norrie. Anyway, what did you think of what Emily just said? She's